Sean McVay, Rams head coach, says Cooper Kupp suffered a setback with his hamstring injury and is now day to day. And Ken, why don't you update the movement in the betting market here, and then we can have a conversation like, what if Kupp doesn't play? What should the number be? What would we want to do?
Yeah, I think you can always break this into two categories of sports books, ones that are paying attention and ones that aren't paying attention. What you always hope for as a bettor is that when a piece of news like this comes out, the number is sitting on like a really key number or something that you will gain a lot of equity in by placing a bet, like, 2.5. You're like, oh man, this might go to 3, and like that's really good. The problem with this was the game was sitting 4.5, so it's just like, oh man, I got 4.5. I got this closing line value. What is it now? 5. Neat. Sounds good. Market, everyone's awake now on this story. So originally a couple books went to 5.5 right when the tweet came out, and some places hadn't moved yet. Now every place has moved 5 or 5.5 everywhere. So the market on Seattle Rams has changed as a consensus price. The total is still 46.5. It's worth noting one place just went to 45.5. And I think this just speaks to, I think, the conversation that we're going to have, which is, okay, if we're starting to have speculation, not anything confirmed, but speculation, and maybe like informed speculation, if there is such a thing, that Cooper Kupp's not going to play in the game against Seattle in week 1, but 10 days from now. What should the side be, and what should the total be? And what you're seeing kind of bettors guess about is that obviously the easy one is the side. Seattle would be more likely to win. The number would move in their favor, but also that there would be less scoring. How are the Rams going to score points if Cooper Kupp doesn't play in the game? The Rams might not score points with Cooper Kupp playing in the game too, but with him not playing in the game, now you're really kind of up against it, like a pretty singularly important wide receiver to what his team wants to do. So Nick, we can have a conversation obviously about like what should the side and total be, but the market update, I think, again, this isn't like that tough to figure out. If we tell you a piece of news, where do you think the market's going to go? Seattle's going to get bet and the under's going to get bet, and that's happened.
Like the Rams have Cooper Kupp and then Van Jefferson, Tyler Higbee, Tutu Atwell, Puka Nacua, they're terrible. And look, I'm not rooting against them. Like, maybe these players will be good. Probably not going to be great. And it's losing Kupp is a huge deal. So Ken, the conversation you and I were having off air, right? So let's say the Rams announce Kupp's out. I think at this point now, we're 10 days out, and he re-aggravated the injury. I'm just going to say, I don't know for sure, but based on the 30 plus years I've been watching football and following it on an obsessive basis, including the 20 years that I've been doing broadcasting as a career and really following this, I think he's less than 50% to play in the game. He's coming off an injury, a serious injury last year, and now he's re-aggravated an injury. It's a hamstring. I don't think it's soft. I don't think he's playing. So I'm not reporting that, but my guess is he's not going to play. So if he doesn't play, what's the right number in this game? What should the number be if Cooper Kupp doesn't play?
Right. Where does the market go to is another way to phrase that. Because I think what you're asking yourself now, even looking at the board with the adjustment from 4.5 to 5 to 5.5 is 5 is a pretty inconsequential number. What you're really trying to capture here is can you middle 6 and 7? Can you middle at least 6 in the game for, maybe even money coming back the other way? Can you give yourself a chance to make some money? Can you bet Seattle's money line at the cheapest price available with the idea maybe you come back and just scalp the Rams the other way at an even bigger price and guarantee you make money? Is that what this game is going to set up as? We don't know anything for sure. I think there is a chance that is going to happen. I think there's a chance that this market's going to move a lot more just because, again, this isn't I know something that no one else knows. I think we all think Cooper Kupp's really valuable. I'm actually trying to predict what the people listening, what you guys all think, and that where the market's going to go. What does everybody think collectively about his value to the point spread? It has to be viewed as, put it this way, it's more significant than the move that's already happened. It's more significant than 4.5 to 5.5. So I think we can say with great certainty, if he's out, it's more than this. I will say it's a little less obvious in the MGM market, but just overall, all sports books together, the one name that actually stands out to me a little bit for how he's priced versus the others is Jalen Hurts. That's actually the one that stands out a little bit because they're basically viewed as likely as all the other teams to win a lot of games. And his statistical accomplishments kind of can't be argued against. He's an easy check every box. We can have the argument about if he stayed healthy last year, would he have beaten Patrick Mahomes? It was at least possible, depending on who you talk to, whether it was likely or not, but it was definitely possible.
Probable, right?
And he's
subjective, right?
I think greater than 50%. Greater than 50%, right? Something like that. And we can't say for sure how it would have played out, obviously, but and if God, I mean, they were like 15-1. Would he have played the last game? You know, whatever, it doesn't matter. But anyway, it's an easy case to make, and the win total's massive. And yet, despite that, like, he's alongside Justin Herbert, who's like a tremendously talented player. And I think everybody who kind of studies football believes that maybe after Patrick Mahomes, like, this is the best guy, like, which I'm totally fine with all of that. Just ask yourself this, which team is more likely to win 14 games this year? If we're using that as kind of the benchmark to award this, you could say 13 games, whatever, some kind of high up number on the win total spectrum. Who is more likely to win that many games this year? It's definitely the Eagles, and I don't think it's close in terms of likelihood to do that. And then, okay, we bring in the second part of this. Great statistics, but has to be accompanied by the winning. Can't just be great stats. Has to be also a lot of winning. Okay, then it almost sounds like Trumpian, winning. And then, okay, that's kind of Hurts too. So, like, why are they the same? That's like kind of like, isn't Jalen Hurts kind of more like Burrow, Mahomes, Allen, and less like the take a flyer on a guy players like Justin Herbert? He's the name that's sort of more interesting to me in terms of where he's priced. I have him as like a tier 1 guy, and he's almost priced like a tier 2 guy behind like the big 3, like the Allen, Mahomes, Burrow group.
He's my favorite bet to win. I think I said that earlier in the week also, like at this price, and you're 100% right. And I think it's just, you know, you can like Justin Herbert. You can think he's awesome. He is. Also, like, I think you actually, I don't even know if like there's anything more for me to say. I think you nailed it, right? Like, which team is more likely to win a ton of regular season games? It's not that the Chargers can't. It's just that what's more likely? It's obviously Philadelphia. So, like, I get it. Herbert's great. Also, Jalen Hurts' stats are going to be ridiculous this year. Like, the stats are going to be amazing. And the fact that I think that they're playing a tougher schedule this year probably lends to the fact that he's going to throw the ball more, right? I mean, like, so many games, like, think about what was happening. The Eagles were rolling up on teams in the first half of games and then basically running out the clock in the second half. Like what a popular bet that was, right? Eagles first half, and then teams would come back in the second half against the Eagles because the schedule was not terribly difficult for Philly. They're playing a first-place schedule this year. Like, the schedule is going to be tougher. Hurts is going to throw the ball more. I'm far from the only person that's saying this. It's why people are so bullish on A.J. Brown and so bullish on Devontae Smith this year, and the Eagles and Dallas Goedert and the Eagles passing game and Hurts. I'm with you, man. I'd much rather bet Hurts than Herbert. And at the price, I actually think he's my favorite bet. We can identify some others, but I think you're totally spot on there. I agree 100%. I joked like Kenny Pickett actually scored 2 touchdowns every possession he played in the preseason. I mean, like, he's Mr. 158.3. What's 158.3? A perfect quarterback rating. That's what he had literally. And he played a lot in the preseason, and he was amazing. They scored basically every single time they had the ball. I think that has people really excited about the offense for this year, right? Pickett's chucking it down the field to George Pickens, who looks amazing, right, in year number 2 for the Pickens connection. Deontay Johnson's looking pretty good. You know, Najee looks good. Jalen Warren looks good. Freiermuth looks good. Darnell Washington, the blocking tight end out of Georgia, the rookie, he looks good too. Here's my concern. We get to the regular season, and like, it's live bullets, and this is like, the games matter now. And Matt Canada and Mike Tomlin go into their shell offensively. And we're back to the Mesozoic era on offense. And it's let's win with defense and have Kenny Pickett manage the game. I don't think that means that, like, they're never going to take deep shots down the field. I don't think it's going to be 3 yards in a cloud of dust and then punt the football on 4th and 1. I'm not insinuating that. I don't know that this is going to be in the regular season what it was in the preseason. And the reason why I have these concerns is because it hasn't been this with Matt Canada as the offensive coordinator. Now, like, Bruce Arians were still the offensive coordinator. I'd be like, okay, like, maybe this is going to be like when Ben Roethlisberger was the quarterback. We haven't seen it yet. Maybe Matt Canada will change his stripes, right? And maybe, or spots. What's the expression? Spots or
spots?
The long and short of that is, I don't know if Matt Canada is going to be able to get Kenny Pickett the stats needed to win. Let me tell you something, brother. I'm fantasizing about Week 1 NFL Sunday.
Yeah.
You're
gonna rizz up the NFL.
Oh, I think it rizzes me up. Honestly,
I
get rizzed up.
Yeah.
I truthfully, I have goosebumps right now. Like, when I say that out loud, I'm serious.
Amazing. Yeah, I know. I believe you.
I have like chills right now thinking about like,
sure.
And the only thing that's bad about it is I don't know if we're going to hear, because we'll be like at whatever sportsbook we're going to be at. Are we going to hear like the red zone theme? Like, I actually might like bring it up like on my phone and listen to it.